Shalom, Apostle Tahar coming back at you once again with this truth, giving all praise to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And I'm going to entitle this, Are the Bantu People Israelites? And the reason why I gave this video that particular title is because I'm going to let you listen to what Vocab Malone said in his video entitled Why She Left the Hebrew Israelites, and the account is Urban Theologian Radio, because the woman that was on the show that was part of an Israelite camp, not ours, basically said if they really want to know or say that they're Israelites, they should do a DNA test. So now, number one, she runs to the so-called white man, the devil, to give this interview, and then she makes a statement that we should go to the white man because the DNA testing is a system set up by the so-called white man. This modern medicine, modern science. Anyway, I'm going to let you listen to what this clown Vocab Malone said. And I did a Google search, and this is what I found.
Guess what? I'm pregnant. It's yours. You're going to go do a DNA test. But all of a sudden, you run around, oh, I'm actually a son of Abraham. Well, let's do a DNA test. Let's see if we could trace some lineage back to what's called the Levant area. Or let's see if it's like what we understand most people who came over here from the transatlantic slave trade to be, of Bantu origin, because Bantu is the people group primarily that was kidnapped out of West Africa, and most, not all, but most of the folks who ended up in the Western Hemisphere are Bantu origin. And there's nothing, being Bantu is something to be proud of, and I think it's a shame that kind of like people are kind of, what I feel, hijacking someone else's story and lineage and ancestry and history, when Bantu needs to be looked at as beautiful and talked about and discussed and not put in the dust. But when you look at Bantu and what we can learn about those groups on the Ivory Coast.
Now, this devil just suggested that we're stealing the heritage from another people. He's talking about these, I assume he's talking about the so-called Jew. When the so-called Jew was converted to the Lord's statutes and commandments, that goes back to the time of John, the high priest John Hyrcanus, which he was from the line of the Maccabees, and he forced the Edomites to practice the Lord's statutes and commandments. And as you go down the line in history, you have the Herodian dynasty, which were Edomites, because the patriarch goes back to a man by the name of Antipater, who had married into one of the women that descended from the or relative of the Maccabean line. And then when you go further in the history, around about 800 AD, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have the data in front of me, but Apostle Gabar, he did a lot of videos on that with the documents, so I would classify him as the expert on that. But that goes back to Kagan Bullen, if I'm saying his name correctly, and he was a king of the Kazakh people, and he was the one that converted them, by decree that they should be Jews. So we didn't steal anything from anyone. Anyway, moving on.
There's a lot of positive things to be said, and instead there's kind of this subversion happening, and I think it's a bad thing. So that's kind of just like my I just jumped on a little soapbox there. Let me get back off. But the man's name is Tyrone Tinson, so I did find that Tyrone.
No, you constantly put your foot in your mouth. You should keep your mouth closed. Just like, remember when you said that you made that stupid statement, which proves you have zero scholarship. you made a statement, and I can show you the video. I can bring up the video because I made a video. If you didn't take the comment down, you said that Caleb was an Edomite, and you proceeded to give me a handful of scriptures, and I quickly came back and showed you that we're talking about two different lines. When you go to First Chronicles, the first chapter, it speaks about the Edomite line, and then when you go to the fourth chapter, it speaks about the line of Judah and how that bears the same name, the Kenizzites. So you continue to continually bring out these videos to demonize the true Israelites, and we keep pushing back with this truth. Anyway, I'm going to go to this article. Okay. It says here, the Bantu branch of Africans are Hebrew Israelites, part 1 of 2. And I mean, you can read the article. I'm just going to read a line or two. It says, in this post, I would like to establish the fact that Bantu branch of Africans generally concentrated in sub-Saharan part of the continent, which is Africa, and their related family branches are actually descendants of the Hebrew Israelites, identifying the Bantu as the descendants of the Israelites extremely important. Having the understanding that the Bantu are Israelites is integral in order to gain a broader and more accurate comprehension of who the Israelites are, where their descendants are located, and what contributions they have made to the world. And you can read the rest of the article, and I'll leave the link in the description box. So you lost again, vocab Malone. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.